Well, stream took a shit again. Let me go back to what I was trying to show. I need to get that damn GoPro. Wow. Anybody remember this stuff? Not sure who that is. I can't take my glasses off. Oh, it's not. I thought it might have been Patton, but it's not. Oh, it's Bradley, Royce. I don't really see it. But one's General Bradley, the 3-star. That one here is Bradley. Alright, I'm not looking as much at the screen as I should. This is a pretty neat deal here. This is what this guy's put together. Not sure what that. Oh, it's a life belt. Oh, that's a bizarre setup. That killed a lot of people because it doesn't work very well. Now here I was talking about this. Machete and scabbard, World War II, United States Marine Corps. Imagine a few Australian pocket guide. Oh, this thing looks like it's never even been used. It's just been on decoration. I actually have a dagger like that, only a functional version. And I had that style knife before, but not the Marine Corps one. Be aware of something here, guys. Do you ever find anything like this or old cannonballs? Be aware, black powder does not go bad. If it is dry, it can go off. In other words, people that put cannonballs next to the fireplace. Oh my, here's old. Oh, this is Japanese government money. Japanese government. I guess that's script after. Oh, sorry, I was covering up the camera there. Script that they were. Oh, and this is one of them neat curry. Shame they don't have it out of the scabbard. And Japanese helmet. And you can touch a lot of this stuff here. This is not hidden, and some of it's in cases, but hell, that thing could probably be put in service pretty easy, if maybe even just used. Well, there's your web gear, World War II. Mine didn't look like that. We didn't have that, but I actually used to have one of these metal ones years ago, and I actually have a tent from World War II. It's dated 1942. I should ask him if he's interested in putting that in a museum. I don't know if there's really space for it. Oh, it's an original 911. Old man had one of those so tricked out. Now this is something I'm not surprised you don't see this in The Walking Dead, because a lot of Marines had these swords, dress swords. That one doesn't look like a standard dresser. Usually a pearl handle. I don't know what that one is. I've never seen that done before. This I actually had one of these. It looks like an M1, but it says U.S. Training Rifle 22 caliber. Nope, that's not a 22 caliber. So I'm not sure what they're talking about. When I had an M1 Garand, I sold it to my nephew, and my brother's probably sold it because he's an asshole. Some cool planes. Surprised they actually don't have a P3 in there. They got a bunch of other stuff. Huh. Maybe I'll have to get a P3 model and build it and give it to them. That would be kind of cool. Or somebody else wants to build one and donate it to them. What the hell? Please do not touch museum exhibit on. What the hell that is? Huh. That's kind of weird. Trench coat. Oh, it's North Korean. Oh, you've seen this. If you're watched MASH, you've seen this style jacket and hat. This is a war I definitely wouldn't want to have been involved in. Korea was a harsh war. Well, sorry, it wasn't even called a war, which is to me wrong. Hey, that's some harsh shit there, man. Try basically like fighting a war in the Arctic.
Thrusting south between the Yellow Sea and the Sea of Japan is a land the size of Utah.
Oh, here's. Oh, I thought that was Elvis for a second there.
Miles at its longest stretch.
I was actually in a base in Germany that Elvis didn't like the food in the mess hall there, and he crashed into the mess hall with a tank and destroyed it. Now this is the style of uniform I wore when I was, except for the beret. We didn't have the beret. And the pockets look wrong, the wrong angle. I don't believe we had sloped pockets. I don't know what era this uniform is. Probably still World War II. Yeah, got World War II stuff in here. Believe it or not, guys, I don't know if you've ever seen this photo. This was staged. And this guy's wife got very pissed off. He was just standing there, and the guy got him to kiss that girl. They didn't even know each other. Yeah, Jackson, South Carolina. It looks a lot like the uniforms, pretty much, except for the woman with the skirt. Pretty much, but that's older. When I was in the world, and I was in 78 through 80 in the Army in Germany. I got some pretty interesting stuff in here, guys, that you wanted to come to eye. Wow. Awful young there, wasn't she? Still in power, man. Shh. That a freaking trip or what? Oh. See, now you put Hitler's mustache on and you're Hitler, but you put this mustache on and you're nobody. Was he any worse or better? His entire regime was based on the Third Reich. The Ba'ath Party is completely based on the Third Reich. Man, I need this. Damn, I need one of these to do audits. That'd be killer. Now, this is all, I guess, Gulf War. Yeah. That one guy I worked with, he's one of the guys we dropped in Afghanistan with set phone. And calling in airstrikes and shit. And he was a trip. He told me once he had to mediate a dispute between two warlords over some 12-year-old boy that were both fucking up the ass. That's some fucked up shit. Oh! I love the smell of napalm in the morning. Actually, I've got recorded for a ringtone, but I've never used it. Gotta wait for the right person for that one. I love this airplane. I can't believe they're starting to get rid of it. I can't believe they're not building a replacement for it. One of the neatest aircrafts ever made. I watched one in Germany come in over our base, and it was at an idle. They can cruise down to 60 miles an hour and do over 400. Oh, here's something pretty cool, guys. All kind of crazy buttons. Oh my God, they got a flag going the right way for a right shoulder patch. I wonder if he knows that. I'll have to ask him. All right, what didn't we see yet? War on Terrorism, War on Terror, Vietnam. Thank God I was 12 years old when this was going on. Yeah, that's the style of Jeep that we were using in Germany when I was there. And we had these, the howitzers. That barrel out here is like 8-inch diameter inside. I've flown in one of these. Oh, notice this is something to notice. Notice the single engine. They changed this, and now they're 2-engine. And you can tell if it's an old one if it's a single engine. They got rid of the single engine ones, and we were still using these when I was in Germany. The Cobra gunships. I actually had one fly over me, like 10 feet over my head at like 80 knots one day. That's pretty funny. The reason they stopped using single engine is because they have redundancy of 2, and they gave more power. But we were out on I was hitchhiking home. Oh, this is cool. Check that thing out. That thing's pretty cool. We were hitchhiking home, or I was hitchhiking home, and these guys pulled up in a Jeep, like that little Jeep there, and were lost. And wow, I guess the tribesmen used crossbows and shit. Check that out. That's pretty cool. They were lost trying to get on. This is the same style M16 that I carried. It's, I can't see it very well. I don't see the selector switch. Too dark in here to see it, but I think that's a semi-auto version. Who knows what this is here, but oh, and that's the style I used when I was in. Only we had the little hole in the top for gas mask connection. There's a little cook pot, and actually here's something interesting. A guy that was in Vietnam told me this. When they didn't have things like that to cook their food, they actually would take a piece of C4 and light it. And C4 will burn, and it makes a very good cook fire. You do not want to put your foot on it to put it out. You do, and it goes kaboom. But if it's not contained, it will sit there and just burn. I guess it needs enough oomph to get fired off. Wow, look at all this places there. I actually knew a dude that was one of the ones we sent sort of up country, I guess into Cambodia and shit. He was a pretty fucked up dude, a total meth addict. Name was Fred West. Nickname was Fred the Head, because he just shot as much meth into his system as he could. What's in there? Guess that area's closed. Hey, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
This patch in here. I think it's in here. Yeah. Do you know why it's backwards?
Yes.
Ah.
Always move forward.
Wonderful. So many people don't know that.
Yeah.
I was curious if you knew.
Yeah.
Okay. Did I miss something anywhere? So you go through the whole thing? Yeah, I guess I went through all that. Oh, did I go into that room?
Go in the hallway down and make a left.
You should have a little wooden thingy here with a trash can like thing under it.
What, under here?
No, yeah, well, like in this little area, like I put a real latrine.
Go down there and make a
Just
left. You'll see
put a little sign that says please don't use. Oh, I'd love to get my hands on one of these things.
I saw one down at World War II Museum. They had one there.
Now, there's actually people running around. They're on Jay Leno's garage. There's a guy, he's running around trying to find these things.
You know
and then
what?
he gets them and then upgrades them. He had one with the dual rear axles in it. 6-wheel drive. And then upgrades the
You
motors
know
and
about
trannies.
slapping sands, right?
Where what?
Slapping sands?
I don't know.
Okay, in April, matter of fact, I think it was April, late April of 44. That was a trial run of D-Day.
Oh, yeah?
And
Oh, you're talking about in England where they got shot up.
That was
Yeah, I know
happens-
about. I didn't know
yeah.
what the name of it
This
was.
fella right here was on. That fella right there was on US 515. That's his ship. When they got torpedoed by the E-boats, first of all, England was supposed to be there with a Corvette, which is a smaller destroyer, and a cruiser. They never showed up. They were late.
Oh, I didn't
Something
know that.
happened. It broke down.
All I
whatever.
know is they got shot up, and there
Well,
wasn't anybody there to protect them, and they didn't have anything to shoot back with.
750 men were killed, around approximately. And his skipper of that ship defied the order of leaving. He went in and picked up the dead, the wounded, and the not wounded, and put them on this ship right here. When this fella, he is 95 now. When he comes in here and he talks about that, he still
Oh, I
has
can
tears
imagine.
in his eyes.
Oh God, yeah.
The guys, I mean, oil. I mean, they were all. It was just horrible, on fire and everything else. Well, anyway,
Anybody who's been in a war has got something.
he was
not
at
going on
D-Day.
there.
He made this ship made 52 trips across the channel. D-Day, bringing prisoners, equipment, food, prisoners and wounded back and forth. 52.
You know the
times.
actor Eddie Albert?
Yes.
Did you know what he did during World War II?
Well, I have a whole list of actors from World War II, what they did and what they received.
Yeah, he ran a landing craft in Iwo Jima. I know about Iwo Jima. Beyond that, I'm not sure. But his rudder got messed up, and he literally kept going back and forth to the beach, standing on the rudder, pushing it with his feet, bringing off wounded and dropping guys off in Iwo Jima.
That's stuff like that you don't hear about that makes these guys so special.
Yeah, they put a lot out there for us. You know, even if they haven't done anything, just being there, standing in that wall. You know,
Yeah.
when I went in, I didn't do anything. I stood there, and we were suicide troops in Germany. They figured if the Russians wanted to come in, they had 3 days to slow them down.
Yeah.
You know,
That was it.
and I kind of always looked around. Like one of the things I hated, we were a maintenance unit for ADA for missile systems and a Vulcan gun, if you know what that is. And
Yes.
I wish I had some of the stuff from that. I'd give it to you for the museum, but I don't. And I actually kind of was always hated it. We had alerts. We would never leave the base. And I always thought, this is ridiculous. Why aren't we going out and setting up? And I asked the commander one day, and he said, well, where we go is top secret. I was like, that's all well and good, but I mean, shouldn't we at least go through the motions? Load the trucks, drive to the other side of the base, set everything back up again. When
Rehearsals.
Yeah, and we had some screwed up shit. I got badly electrocuted because one truck that was parked next to me, the Army's infinite wisdom. They had a whole bunch of different trucks, and of course, every single one of them, even though it ran off the same 4-cylinder generator, had its own special cord with a special keyway, which were identical except for the keyway. Well, what happens when you lose the keyway or lose the right cord? You break the keyway off, use another one that just says ABCD. What happens when somebody coming in doesn't know this? Goes, fuels up the truck, brings it back. They're going to line up the keyway slot, right? Because the ABCD is really hard to see.
Right.
And they actually had plugged in their truck wrong, which I had actually done to my truck a couple of times, blew all the lights out. Nobody even told me I had been doing it wrong. And I touched my truck, touched in, and got hit with 110 at 400 cycles in my right hand, out my left. And had memory issues ever since.
Oh my goodness. That's horrible.
Oh, hey, would you be interested in a 1942 Army pup tent? It's actually dated, made in 1942. I don't know if I want to donate it, but I might let you have it in the museum.
Let me think about that.
Huh. Oh, here we go. Just a bunch of uniforms. Let's see what we got here. Airborne patch. I don't really see anything from what looks like my era, except for this very first one, which that looks more like the style we had when I was in. Sort of. I don't remember these lines on the cuffs. Let's see how the pockets are square. I don't remember buttons there either. I had to go back to static because the Wi-Fi didn't hold. But what I'm going to do now is head over to the court. Oh wait, we got one more room we didn't go in. I'm gonna put the thumbnail on this of a picture of one of my drill sergeants. Believe it or not, this guy was like 6'2", 130-pound linebacker for the base football team, and his name was Thrasher. Believe it or not. Talk about a perfect name for a freaking drill sergeant. And believe it or not, guys, I actually one of the first men ever trained with women, Fort McClellan, Alabama, and they actually disbanded the word whack in my basic training ceremony. And that was it. No more whacks. They were all troops after that.
Thinking your kid's dead 1 month later he's alive. I mean, roller coaster emotional ride for her has to be unbelievable. Anyway, this is
wasn't in here yet.
Front here, okay. And I have some other things that we're gonna be doing in this room. This is our academy. We have the VMI, Coast Guard Academy, West Point, Annapolis Air Force Academy, and the Citadel.
Okay.
These items here are very rare. You hardly ever see these. This fella here during World War II was in Nome, Alaska, along with during the World War II and the Aleutians as well.
Right.
Well, he became very good friends with the Eskimos because he got movies, and these Eskimos never seen movies, and they became really close friends and this and that. When they found out his wife was pregnant, his daughter, who wore this, still lives here in Brevard.
Wow.
And my wife knows her very well. Her name is Candy. And anyway, when they found out she was pregnant, they actually made this for her.
Yeah.
Okay. They made the mucklucks, and you can see how she grew. Okay. Made the little dolls for her, and her father carved these out of walrus tusks.
What is this one particular?
That's the only one I do not know. This here's like a tanner. You know?
Yeah, it kind of looks like you're scraping.
Yeah, but this one here, I have no idea.
Might be made for stretching something.
Maybe. But anyway, you could see this is really special.
Ceremonial.
Really special. And she actually wore this.
I bet.
Yeah.
Probably a seal skin.
Yeah.
You got to get her picture in there.
Yeah. Well, she comes in all the time.
Especially if you got a picture of her wearing that stuff.
Well, I'd love to have that.
Did
But
he make videos of the Eskimos when he was up there?
No.
Or he just had movies for them to watch?
Bummer. They sent them
Oh,
out
my
movies just
God,
like,
that was so
World
cool.
War II, you see a movie, right? Betty Grable, who
It shows you the real
yeah.
film.
And he became really popular with the Eskimos because I never saw a movie before, you know?
Oh, I'd imagine.
Yeah. And this is my daughter's uniform right here. She graduated from West Point, and that's her saber. And this is her in her uniform here at West Point. And she was an S1 officer. She served 1 year in Afghanistan, and she was with the 159th Aviation Combat Brigade. At that time, they were going through Kyrgyzstan at Nanis Air Base there, and she was the first one over, the last one out. As a parent, it was the weirdest thing in the world because we were in this big hangar. She was with the 101st Airborne Division, and we were this hangar up there at Fort Campbell, and they had food there, and all the spouses of the veterans, and to see your kid leave to go to war, and to get on that bus, it was I'll never forget that feeling. Yeah. But the brigade commander comes up to me and goes, "I'll take care of it, don't worry about it." It made me feel a little better. But,
what year was it she went over there?
08.
08.
Yeah, and the thing was, that was when you could not Skype at that time, and she'd talk, and a little bit later you hear the voice. It wasn't.
It's still a little like that.
Yeah. Well, anyway, the scariest time that she was over there. My wife and I are both school teachers, so we at 2 o'clock in the morning we get a phone call. Nothing happens good at 2 o'clock in the morning. Okay,
No.
we get a phone call. I answer the phone, and this is exactly how the phone call went. "This is Fort Campbell. Your soldier is okay." Click.
No,
Really?
That's all they
That's
said.
pretty
all
ignorant.
they said. Yes. Well, so now My wife and I are like, we're wide-eyed,
Yeah.
bushy-tailed now. We're going, oh my
Why do
God.
I
Is
need to think
is
if
she
she's
in
okay?
Germany? Is she injured or what? And she's okay? Or what's okay mean? A lot of things about okay. So
That's pretty.
we had the
pretty
Afghan number, modern technology, right? So I'm calling her and calling her and calling her. 2 hours later, I finally get her. Now this is a kid for you, right? Dad, I'm sleeping. I said, that happened 2 days ago. They threw some RPGs in here, no big deal. I'll call you later and tell you all about it. Click. And I said, I didn't care as long as I heard her voice and she was fine. But that was just.
What a way for it to happen.
No, that's the good. That was the
Just for a phone
scare.
call.
I mean, my heart was pounding on my
Can't
chest.
imagine.
You know.
Thank her for her service. For
Yeah,
me.
I
Thank
will.
you.
And my son-in-law was a Black Hawk pilot over there. Yeah, he graduated from West Point too. His uniform's in the other
Well,
room.
That's about it, guys.
I tell you,
I'm gonna stop this stream. Oh, it's snowing. And we're gonna see if we can get in the courthouse. I'm gonna leave it run until I get over there. It's actually snowing. I don't know if you can quite see it. Yeah, you see it a little bit. I'll see if this courthouse is open. If it's open, I'm gonna restart it. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and start it again.